Hi, welcome to Miss Music. I'm working my way through every Rush studio album before seeing them live in London in March next year. And in this video, I'm taking a look at A Farewell to Kings. Now, A Farewell to Kings was released in 1977 and was Rush's fifth studio album. And I first heard it around 1982. Looking back, that was only 5 years after its release, but as a teenager, 1977 felt like ancient history, a completely different era to the one I was growing up in. For me, A Farewell to Kings represents the absolute peak of Rush's 1970s output, and I wasn't the only one who thought so. Writing in Sounds magazine in September 1977, Jeff Barton called the album simply a masterwork. At a time, I think, when much of the music press still didn't know what to make of Rush. So that was really some praise. Sitting between the towering landmarks of 2112 and Hemispheres, it often gets overlooked, I think. 2112 tends to receive all of the attention because of its epic title suite. But I would argue that A Farewell to Kings is the stronger, more accomplished album from start to finish. And hopefully, by the end of this video, I will convince you why. This is the album, I think, where Rush finally perfected the progressive rock style that they've been developing since Aggressive Steel. It's also the album that captures the band at a fascinating crossroads, still fully committed to ambitious prog rock, but beginning to develop the concise songwriting and memorable hooks that would make them an arena-filling band in the 1980s. Geddy Lee has said we had to keep moving forward. We had to keep getting better. We had to try things differently. We are not happy. We didn't like to repeat ourselves. And I think this really underlies why Rush are such a good band. They just want to progress all the time. Interestingly, the album was recorded at Rockfield Studios in Wales, where the band could rehearse and record in the same location. The more relaxed environment seems to have really paid off because the album sounds incredibly confident and focused. The title track, A Farewell to Kings, is one of my absolute favourite Rush songs and perfectly showcases their growing maturity as songwriters. In less than 6 minutes, Rush manages to cram in everything that made 2112 great: intricate arrangements, shifting time signatures, dynamic contrast, powerful riffs, and memorable melodies. What's most impressive is that none of it feels forced. This is the beginning of Rush mastering the art of making incredibly complex music sound natural and accessible. The same skill would eventually lead to classics like The Spirit of Radio, Limelight, and Tom Sawyer. It is great to hear Alex playing acoustic guitar to great effect on this album. The guitar, incidentally, was recorded outside of the studio in the Welsh countryside. I mean, how atmospheric can a recording be, recorded in this land of ruined castles? When I started writing this video, I assumed that I would never get a chance to hear the song played live. I don't think they played it live since 1979. But with the band bringing it back for some dates on the current tour, there is suddenly some hope that London is going to get lucky. If you've seen them on tour and they've played it, I mean, what was it like? The album opens with what is genuinely, I think, one of the finest side one tracks in rock history. First comes that brilliant title track. Then Xanadu. If A Farewell to Kings is the sound of Rush maturing, then Xanadu is the ultimate proof. Inspired by Samuel Taylor Coleridge's poem Kubla Khan, it's an 11-minute progressive rock masterpiece that somehow manages to feel both epic and completely effortless. What strikes me the most is how seamlessly the band moves through its different sections. Compare it with some of the more awkward transitions on Caress of Steel, and you can hear just how far they've come as composers. Here, every section flows naturally into the next. There are no joins to hear, just one breathtaking piece of music. And while Xanadu is often discussed because of its complexity, and rightly so, it's worth remembering just how demanding it is to play. The band performed it live while simultaneously triggering foot pedal synthesizers, something that was highly unusual at that time. It has also become one of the staples of Rush reaction videos online. There's loads of people reacting to Xanadu, and hopefully it has introduced a whole new generation of listeners to the band. Honestly, if you haven't listened to this album recently, or perhaps you've never heard it at all, side one alone is worth the price of admission. It's as close to perfect, I think, as Rush ever got in that 1970s period. Like 2112, side 2 of the album is more varied, but unlike 2112, I think it holds together better. Cinderella Man and Madrigal don't often get mentioned amongst Rush's greatest songs, but, I think they're stronger than tracks like Twilight Zone or Lessons from the previous album. And they kind of add some variety to this album without feeling like fillers. Then, of course, there's Closer to the Heart. It's one of Rush's most famous songs and arguably their first true crossover hit. And at just under 3 minutes, it proved that Rush could write concise, radio-friendly music without sacrificing their identity. It's another Rush song I absolutely adore. I've said on other albums they're not very good at writing slow, poignant songs, but, here they nail it. The album closes with the sci-fi epic Cygnus X-1, the first chapter of a story that would continue on Hemispheres. It's classic Rush, ambitious, imaginative, and completely unapologetic in its scope. The track takes a listener on an interstellar voyage into a black hole, combining Neil Peart's fascination with science fiction and philosophy with some of the heaviest music the band has recorded up to this point. And what a way to end an album. Rather than providing a resolution, it leaves the story hanging, practically demanding that you listen to Hemispheres next. For me, that's one of the reasons A Farewell to Kings stands out. It has the ambition of 2112, the technical brilliance of Hemispheres, and at the same time hints at the streamlined songwriting that would define the band's next decade. If someone asks me, where to start with 70s Rush, I might actually recommend A Farewell to Kings over 2112. It captures everything that made Rush great, but it does so with a confidence and a consistency that few progressive rock albums can match. It's not just one of Rush's best albums, it may just be their masterpiece. Is this just me? Do you feel the same way? I can't see it any other way. So let me know in the comments if you agree, or am I really barking up the wrong tree? Thanks for watching. Do subscribe if you're enjoying the channel. Thanks.